There have been so many games that I've completed which later got DLC released for them that I have never been bothered to play. Or even games that had DLC when I originally played them, but I just never got to it. For whatever reason, there's a lot of these games that I just skipped the DLC on. So for this video, I selected 4 games that I wanted to try finally beating the DLC for, and we're going to be going through them today and doing exactly that. Before we get started though, make sure to subscribe because for some reason, only 1% of you guys are actually subscribed to me, which is just crazy. Like, come on guys, it's kind of just embarrassing. We can do better than that. Also, comment below what kind of games you want to see me play next. I'm always open to taking some suggestions. Oh yeah, and going into this video, my completion percentage is currently at 53.53%. So let's see how much we can make that go up by today. Anyways, with all that stuff out of the way, let's get into some DLCs. Astros Playroom is the first ever game that I got a platinum trophy on. Back then I had also completed the trophies for the first DLC pack, which was the only one at the time. However, since that point there has been 4 more bots added to the game, each with a trophy tied to them for a new DLC pack. And I have not yet gone back to get those trophies. Until now. These are all super easy to find with a guide and shouldn't take me very long at all. Our first one is this guy based around Bloodborne. In order to get to this one, we have to just stand in this bush to make him appear, and then go over to the clock, input the correct date, and boom. It's crazy. I don't know how you would do this without a guide. But there's our first bot rescue. Our second bot, based around Gran Turismo, is on this beach where in order to make him appear, we just have to run on these green sea stars in the correct order. Then from there we go over to this little steering wheel, pull up the level menu, and now there's like these driving sounds that appear whenever you use the menu. All you have to do from here is input the correct directions to unlock the bot. There's our second one. That one was really cool actually, but again, no idea how you're doing that without a guide. Our third bot is based around Ape Escape. For this one, you need to throw this thing into the void to make it appear, then go get the banana on the top of the mountain and bring it to him. Once you do that, all you have to do is mimic the emotes he does, and you will unlock him. Alright, there's our third one. Our fourth and final bot is a space guy, and all we have to do for this one is punch the air by the cliff to make him appear, then go through this gun area and literally just die while standing on this little spaceman guy. Oh, okay. These are all like super crazy to figure it on your own. I don't know how anyone ever did that. But we got it. Fourth one. Is that the last one? Yes, it is. There we go. That was super quick and easy. Only took me like 20 minutes. And that is literally all for Astros Playroom. Super easy with a guide, but really have no idea how you would ever find these if you did not have one. Alright, with that quick one done, let's move on to the next Astro Bot game. I had originally played and platinumed Astro Bot back when it came out, and from what I remember, I really enjoyed this game, but I did find it a little bit too short. Since then, the game has released 4 new sets of DLC trophies, and I have never been bothered to go back and try these out. I also heard that these were supposed to be super hard levels, so let's hope so, because I really want a challenge here. Starting off with the first set of DLC, they're all speedrun based, and completing each level will earn us with a trophy. Sadly, for some reason my voiceover just didn't save for any of these, so you won't be getting any reactions for any of these trophies. The first level is called Building Speed, where you gotta use this dog back bling to boost across the level, and I was able to unlock both of the bots on this level in my very first try. The next one was called Let It Slide, and it was actually really cool. What you have to do in this one is make these ice trails appear as platforms in order to get across the level. And the ice in this game is just super fun to go fast on. And yeah, this one was pretty easy and I was also able to complete it on my first try. The next one was called Spring Loaded Run. In this one you use the frog arms to swing across from platforms and punch things. This was the first one that did take me a couple of tries to get, but it was also one of my favorites. The platforming sections with the swinging is just a lot of fun here. The next level was Helium Heights. This one took me quite a few tries to get because the balloon power up just took me a while to figure out how to use again for some reason. I didn't like this one very much, but once I got the hang of the power up, it wasn't too bad. The final level of this galaxy is called Rising Heat. You have to use this monkey climb thing to get to the top of the level. To use this monkey power up, you have to tilt the controller back and forth, and you have to go super fast in this level, so you kind of just go crazy on the controller. I wish I had a face cam on for this portion because it was actually just insane how fast I was moving. This was definitely the hardest one to beat, but eventually I got it and earned the trophy for beating it, along with the trophy for getting all of the bots in this galaxy. The next DLC to go for was the Christmas level. It's a bit late for Christmas, but all I had to do for this one was wear the Santa suit, which you get at the very start of the level, climb to the top of the Christmas tree, and collect all 15 presents that are hidden around the level. These presents took the longest to get, but they weren't too hard to find at all, and I only needed to look at a guide for one of them. But overall, super fun level, super cute level, cool Christmas theme, I like it. The last thing to do was the 2 sets of trophies we have for the Vicious Void Galaxy. These ones were more difficult than the others, but still nothing even that hard. Again, just like the last ones, these ones involve me using different power-ups to beat the level, and will also give us a trophy for completing each of them. The first one, called TikTok Shock, you have to use the time slow power up to jump across these flying seals, as well as some cards and other platforms. This one wasn't too bad at all and it only took me a couple tries to beat, but it was super fun. The next level, called Thrust or Bust, crazy name by the way, is all about using the dog to charge through the level, but this time the platforming sections are a lot harder. This one actually did take me a good 10 minutes or so to beat, but again, I really did like this one. The next level was Cockadoodle Doom, and as the name implies, revolves around using the chicken. This level is also pretty tricky because of these spinning guys with their spiky balls, but I was able to beat it with enough practice. The next level I did really like a lot. It's called Hard to Bear and revolves around using these symbols to change the directions of platforms and stuff. Very reminiscent of that one level in Mario Galaxy, which is probably why I like it so much. But yeah, it wasn't too hard, only took me a couple of tries to beat. The next one, called Armored Hardcore, revolves around using the heavy armor power up to roll on spikes and block fire damage. This did take me a couple of tries just because of this one volcano guy, but once I figured out that part, I was able to beat the level. The next level, Twin Frog Trouble, was about using the Frog Fist power up again to punch and swing. It wasn't too hard, but I did really like this one swinging section here. Next was Suck It Up, where I had to use the elephant to make platforms. I actually liked this one a lot, and it was quite tricky to dodge the enemies while making the platforms at some sections, but I was able to eventually beat it. Next up, Handhold Havoc was again with this stupid monkey arms, but this one wasn't as bad as the first one with the monkey and only took me about 3 tries to beat. Our second to last level is called High Inflation, and oh boy do I love me some inflation. Almost as if this level was made for me, and for real it was. I beat it in like my first try. After beating that one, the final challenge appeared, which would be a mix of different power-ups all in one level. I won't lie, this one was pretty difficult, but not nearly as bad as I was expecting. I mean, I've seen grown men raging over the levels in this game, and they're really just not that hard. This level was also way shorter than I was expecting for a final gauntlet style level, but it was still lots of fun. And with that, we have reached 100% completion in Astro Bot. Still a really fun game, but the DLC was not nearly as difficult what I was expecting. But I mean, of course it won't be too hard at the end of the day, it is a kid's game. But just like the base game, the level design in this is just so fun to play. The extra little bit of challenge that is there makes it more fun for me. But yeah, overall, great DLC. Anyways, time to move on to the next game of the video. Cuphead is one of my favorite indie games of all time. I had originally played it on my Nintendo Switch along with the DLC. Back in June of 2023, I decided to get the game on PS5 and platinum it, but I never did buy the DLC. However, when picking games for this video, I noticed that the DLC was on sale and thought it would be a good time to give it a shot. Going into this, my primary goal was just to defeat all the bosses in the new area while playing as the new character Miss Chalice. I wanted to play as her for this whole thing because there is a trophy that requires me to beat 10 bosses using Miss Chalice. The first boss I went after was Glumstone the Giant. The main difficulty for me here was just getting back into the game and relearning the controls, which did take me some time, but eventually I was able to get the hang of it. This fight wasn't too hard. I think it mainly just took me so long because it was my first time playing in so long, and took me more time than it really should have. The first phase is probably the hardest, but after some practice I was able to get past it almost every time. The second phase is pretty easy, but can be a bit luck based at times. And the third phase is the easiest of them all. It's just that most of the time when I would get to it, my health would be pretty low, and so learning this section was a bit trickier. Eventually, after about 20 minutes of trying this boss, I was able to beat it, and it earned me a couple of trophies. One was for defeating the boss with Miss Chalice's super art, and the other one was just for beating the boss while playing as Miss Chalice. The next boss I went after was Mortimer Freeze. He definitely felt a lot easier than the first boss, but took me just as long to beat. His first phase goes by super quickly once you figure out what to do. Same goes for the second, but it is a bit tougher, but also super fun. Using Miss Chalice against this guy makes it a lot easier because you can just roll past some of his harder to dodge attacks. And most of the time I was able to beat this section without even getting hit. The third phase is easiestly the trickiest. You have to fight the snowflake guy while moving around on spinning platforms and having a ton of projectiles thrown at you. After enough trial and error though, I was able to beat him. No trophies for beating this guy though. The next boss I tackled was Moonshine Mob. This is probably one of my favorite ones in the DLC. The first phase has you fight the spider guy and a ton of his other minions who are running around, all while making sure not to get blown up by these hanging bomb sack things. At first I didn't know how to get rid of them, but soon found out all I had to do was just run into them and then get away to make them explode. This phase didn't take me too long to figure out, and the second one was even easier. All you have to do here is roll through these beams when they turn red and watch out for the other guys running past. The last phase is against this anteater guy. All you really have to do here is make sure you're on the opposite side of the trunk and pay attention to where he's attacking. Then after taking enough damage, his hat will fall off and all you have to do is shoot the snail guy that was hiding underneath it. The next boss was Esther Winchester, who is actually one of the plane bosses. Mostly I find the plane fights some of the hardest in the game, but this one only took me like 10 minutes to beat. And when I did beat it, I also got a trophy for killing this guy without killing any of their minions. Next I decided to go up to the King's Challenge area where some of my favorite fights in this DLC take place. For these ones you can't shoot or anything and all you can do is parry, which makes them super unique. The first one is these like chess pawn guys who jump down from the roof and you have to parry their heads off to kill them. This one wasn't hard and only took me like 3 or 4 tries. The next one is against this horse knight guy, where you have to wait for openings in his attacks and parry the main hat thing. This one's not exactly difficult, it just takes some patience because it does take quite a while to build up damage on this guy. But once you learn the like 4 attacks he can use, he becomes pretty easy. These were the last of the King's challenges that I had access to right now, so we would come back for the rest later. After this, I wanted to go for the trophy for killing one of the bosses with one of the new weapons, so I went to the shop and bought this lightning bolt one. From there I made my way to the boss Howling Aces, which I remember being the one I struggled on the most when I first played this DLC. The first phase isn't anything too bad, just takes some learning to figure out which attacks do what. One of the things that makes this fight so hard is the fact that you're constricted to this plane, which moves very slowly based on what wing you're standing on. Phase 2 is super easy, you just have to make sure not to get hit by these letters, which are not hard to dodge at all. The third phase, however, is where the fight becomes troublesome. At first it's just some lasers being shot at you, which is easy enough to avoid, but then the screen flips, and you have to try to dodge these dog bowls, which is super disorienting. My main method I used against this was actually just turning my head to the rotation of the screen to make it feel like I was playing normally, and it actually worked pretty well for me. I was eventually able to beat it, which earned me 2 trophies. There we go. Defeat every boss in Inkwell Isle. And defeat a boss with one of the new weapons as well. With every main boss defeated, I went back to the King's challenges to beat the ones that I still had left to do. The first one was this floating head where you have to blow out the candles in order to make him vulnerable. This one's not too bad, just takes some practice, but definitely was the hardest for me out of all of them. Next is this guy who's sharpening his axe with these pink heads that you have to parry back at him. This one's super easy by far, only took me like 1 try to beat. And our final one is the Queen. All you have to do here is parry the cannons at the right moment to shoot the cannonballs at her, and dodge some projectiles while doing so. Nothing too difficult, just requires you to pay attention to what's happening around you. Then when I defeated her, I got another trophy. Checkmate, and that's for defeating all of the King's games. With all the King's challenges done, I went to take all the ingredients I'd got from beating the bosses to the chef, where we would fight him as the final boss of the DLC. This boss is actually way easier than all the other bosses. His first phase just involves dodging all these ingredients that are being thrown at you, which isn't too hard at all. The second phase, you have to shoot these pepper shakers to make them shoot towards him to do damage to him. And all you have to really dodge here is the flames, the shots the pepper shakers make, and the occasional leaf. The third phase is very quick and you just have to dodge this weird dough guy. And the fourth and final phase is just jumping up some platforms while trying to dodge this heart. And yeah, I was actually able to beat this guy on my second try. So easy, second try. Complete your quest in Inkwell Isle. With the main story of the DLC completed, I started going back to some of the bosses that I didn't do too well on to get an A- rank on them for the trophy Ranger. To get an A- rank, you need to make sure to have high health by the end of the fight, use your super meter enough, get at least 3 parries, and beat the boss in under 2 minutes and 10 seconds. The first boss I went back after was Mortimer Freeze. Getting the A- rank was a lot harder than just beating the fight normally, but after a few attempts I was able to do it. Next was Moonshine Mob. I never found this fight super difficult in the first place, so getting the A- rank wasn't too bad either. The only one I had left to do was the chef again. This took me way longer to do than beating him the first time. This fight really becomes 10 times difficult when you're trying to beat it super fast and with parrying and without getting hit. But after like 40 minutes of trying this one, I was able to beat him and get the trophy. There we go, finally all A ranks on every boss. For the next trophy, we need to get an S rank on any DLC boss. This follows the same rules as the A- rank, but instead here we have to play on the expert difficulty for this one to count. The guide recommended the plane fight as the easiest one because it doesn't change much in expert mode. I thought this would be hard because of how much I struggled on this boss before, but it actually wasn't too bad. It was actually somehow easier for me than most of the A rank bosses. That was really close, but I got it. There we go, S rank. With all the bosses fully complete, I went back to the king for one last challenge. This is just a gauntlet mode where you have to beat all the challenges in a row. This sounds like it would be super difficult, but after each boss you do get your health refilled, so it's actually not too bad. And it only took me a couple tries to beat. That was so close. Wait, that's the last one, right? Am I dumb? Is there one more? Okay, that should be it. There we go. King's Admiration. The next few trophies relate to the secret boss of this DLC. To unlock it, you just need to buy the cursed relic from the shop and then go to these gravestones and hit them in the right order, which will unlock the boss. You would think that a secret boss would be super difficult, but it was actually the opposite. I beat this guy in like 3 tries total. All you have to do is turn the opposite directions from the projectiles that are coming from you and it will make them disappear. It was really easy. Just one phase. With this done, it was time to head back to the main islands of the base game to kill a few more bosses with Miss Chalice for a trophy. Picking the easiest ones and playing on simple mode, this took me no time at all. Here we go, let's 10 bosses with Miss Chalice. With this done, we only had one more trophy left to get, which is upgrading the relic we got earlier for the secret boss. To do this, we have to have it equipped while fighting bosses in regular mode. This relic makes it so that you only have 1 heart of health, and so that every time you shoot, it switches to a randomized weapon. Luckily, we can get a bit more health by doing this little cheat for more HP from the genie. I started off with all the bosses on Inkwell Isle 1, but I still needed a few more after that. So in Inkwell Isle 2, I fought the Candy Lady, the roller coaster guy, and then finished things off with the genie plane fight. There we go, Paladin. That should be 100% on Cuphead. Cuphead still is and always will be one of my favorite indie games. I always hear these other YouTubers going on and on about how difficult this game is, and yeah, it's hard, but honestly, I don't think it's as hard as people make it out to be. Yes, it's a difficult game, but people act like it's one of the hardest games ever made, and it's definitely just not. I mean, even the PSN guide rates it at 7 out of 10 for difficulty, and I really just do not get it. Anyways, with that game beat, let's move on to the last game of the video. Now, I know that this game isn't actually a DLC, but I mean, it kinda is. I originally had another game planned for this video, but it was gonna take me way too long, and this video is already long enough, so I decided to switch it to this. Again, this game isn't a DLC technically, but it's not really a full game either, so there's no platinum for this game, and it was released essentially as a demo for Kingdom Hearts 3. There's only 15 total trophies in this game, and I already have 10 of them, so we don't have too far to go. As soon as I opened the game, I went into the character customization settings and started equipping some items, which did give me a super easy trophy. The main difficulty of getting 100% in this game is a trophy called Ambitious for completing all objectives. The objectives are basically just little mini side missions with lots of different things you have to do, and there's a total of 51 of these to complete. Some of these are easy, just like requiring you to hit a lamppost or climb up to some high places, while others require you to beat bosses without getting hit or killing bosses in a certain way. The good thing is that these objectives will carry across saves, so it makes it a bit more manageable for some of these that could have been missed otherwise. But some of these are really not going to be easy. For now, I just focused on a trophy called Treasure Hunter for finding every treasure chest in the game, which also had objectives for finding all treasure chests in each area. At some point along this way, I'd managed to defeat a total of 500 Heartless, earning me a trophy for that, as well as completing lots of little random objectives while doing this. The treasure chests weren't too bad to find, except for the ones in this one world, which is just a complete pain, but eventually I was able to get to the last one. Finally, the treasure chests in this one world suck. They are not easy to find in this one. I just hate this world in general, honestly. After that, I started going for this one objective for clearing this challenge mirror thing, but it was just brutal, mainly due to the final boss of this section just being a crazy difficult boss. I knew I wasn't going to be able to beat it at my current level, so I decided to start grinding for levels, since I would need to reach level 80 anyway for another objective. Even coming back with like 20 more levels, this fight still just felt impossible and was taking me so long to figure out. The main difficulty with this fight is just how fast Shadow Aqua moves. You have to learn to deal with each attack she throws at you, but they all come out super quickly, so it's just super difficult to figure out which attack she's using. You really just need crazy reaction speed for this. After many attempts, I was getting to the point where I could get pretty far into the fight consistently and reach just this absolute flow state and was able to react to what moves she was going to use. But even at this point, it was still a struggle. However, after probably like 2 hours total spent on this fight, I was finally able to beat it. Come on. Oh, man, what a stupid boss fight. That was so difficult. Finally done. After this, I just went to quickly clear another easy objective and then start a new game with New Game Plus to complete the game on critical mode, which only unlocks after beating the game on proud mode, which of course I had already done because I'm good at the game and I play all the Kingdom Hearts games in proud mode because I'm amazing. The goal for this playthrough was really just to beat the game, which I knew was going to be a bit more difficult because of course it is the hardest mode in the game, but it wasn't actually that bad. I got through the early sections of the game without too many issues. Things only really got difficult in the last area of the game with this one specific section of enemies that kept giving me a lot of trouble. Then of course the final boss was also pretty difficult. Not nearly as bad as Shadow Aqua, but still took me like 40 minutes or so to beat this guy. With critical mode out of the way, all we have left to do is complete one more playthrough on the easiest difficulty to go back and get some of the objectives that I missed for killing bosses in certain ways, as well as beating the game without dying. The first boss we came to just had to be killed using Aqua's finishing move, which wasn't hard to pull off at all. It's also important to mention that if I do mess up any of these objectives, all I have to do is quit out to the main menu and retry them, so it's really not too bad. The next one that I had to do was defeat Phantom Aqua without getting hit. Luckily, this is not nearly as hard as the secret boss version of her from earlier, and I don't know how, but I was able to do this in my first try. No way, I did it first try. Okay. Guess I'm just crazy at this. The next one is for beating this next boss without getting hit as well. I failed my first attempt, but my second attempt was super easy. All I did here was use the shot lock ability as many times as I could, and it just melted his health away. Then our final objective is to beat the Demon Tower boss while using what I thought was the finishing move with Mickey, and I thought I messed it up and killed him too early, but you actually just have to kill him while in the transformation state with Mickey, not the actual finisher. And yeah, killing this guy finally got me the trophy for unlocking all of the objectives. Oh, what? That counts? I didn't even do it. Oh, maybe not the finisher. Okay. Well, there we go. All we had left to do now was beat the game without dying, and of course, being on the easiest difficulty, this was nothing difficult at all. And yeah, I was able to beat him super quickly and unlock the final trophy of the game. Alright, there we go. So once I get to the credits, it should give me the trophy. There we go, undefeated, and that is 100% on Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Fragmentary Birth by Sleep. I don't even know, man. Too long of a name. But that's it. 100%. Took me way longer than I had hoped. Wasn't horrible, but yeah, it took a lot longer than I was expecting, really. I did think that this game was going to take me a lot quicker to complete than it did, mainly because I didn't realize how long it takes to do the objectives. This game is really short, but it is still fun. It's still a Kingdom Hearts game, and as hard as the Phantom Aqua fight was, it was a really good challenge and felt super rewarding to finally beat. So yeah, I would definitely recommend giving this game a try, but obviously play the other Kingdom Hearts games first. So, after completing these DLCs, my trophy percentage has gone up to 53.85%. It is a little bit low because I am working on a game for my next video, so that lowers it a tiny bit. And definitely stay tuned for that video and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on it. And yeah, if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching, really means a lot. It'd be nice if you could just leave a like on the video, comment below what games you want to see me play next, and hopefully I will see you next time.